Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the Sri Vidya Temple's online classes in chanting. We are currently doing our series on Sri Lalita Sahasranama Stotram. And we're doing this series as a practice review. So this is not a full class. The full class was done earlier, which you can find on the YouTube channel for the temple. But currently we're doing more of a fast-paced review so that people who've already learned can fine-tune their chanting and pronunciation. So in the last session, we had gotten up to shloka number 115. So we'll be starting from shloka 116. And so we'll start with the Ganapati prayer, and then we'll go into it. Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Viknopashantaye. Okay, so starting from Parashaktihi. Parashaktif Paranishtha. Parashaktif Paranishtha. Parashaktif Paranishtha. Prajnana Ghanarupini. Prajnana Ghanarupini. Prajnana Ghanarupini. Parashaktif Paranishtha. Prajnana Ghanarupini. Parashaktif Paranishtha. Prajnana Ghanarupini. Parashaktif Paranishtha. Prajnana Ghanarupini. Next line. Madhvipanalasamatta. 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 Matrukavarnarupini. 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 Madhvipanalasamatta. Matrukavarnarupini. Madhvipanalasamatta. Matrukavarnarupini. Madhvipanalasamatta. Matrukavarnarupini. Next line. Mahakailasanilaya. 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 Mrnalamrududurlata. 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 Mahakailasanilaya. Mrnalamrududurlata. Mahakailasanilaya. Mrnalamrududurlata. Mahakailasanilaya. Mrnalamrududurlata. Next line. Mahaniyadayamurtir. 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 Mahasamrajyashalini. 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 And here in the word samrajya, notice the holding after dirgha that comes 2 times in a row. So we have samra, and then raja, raja. So the word is samrajya. Okay, now I'll do the full line. महनीया दयामूर्तिर्महासाम्राज्यशालिनी महनीया दयामूर्तिर्महासाम्राज्यशालिनी महनीया दयामूर्तिर्महासाम्राज्यशालिनी. Next slide. आत्मविद्या महाविद्या आत्मविद्या महाविद्या आत्मविद्या महाविद्या श्री विद्या कामसेविता श्री विद्या कामसेविता श्री विद्या कामसेविता आत्मविद्या महाविद्या श्री विद्या कामसेविता आत्मविद्या महाविद्या श्री विद्या कामसेविता आत्मविद्या महाविद्या श्री विद्या कामसेविता. Next line. श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या त्रिकूटाको excuse me त्रिकूटाकामकोटिका 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 श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या त्रिकूटाकामकोटिका श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या त्रिकूटाकामकोटिका श्री षोडशाक्षरी विद्या त्रिकूटाकामकोटिका. So on this line, it's a little bit challenging because there are a number of retroflex sounds alternating with other sounds. So the tongue has to move sort of back and forth rapidly, and it takes a little bit of practice. So it's like Shri and then Shoda. So Sho and Da are both retroflex. And then Sha, which is not retroflex, and then Ksha. Ksha has the retroflex Sha sound within it. So that's a little bit challenging. And then the other tricky part is that in the middle of the line, we have holding after dirgha, but it occurs with two separate words. So we have vidya followed by trikuta. So because the ya is followed by tri, which is a conjunct syllable, there's holding there. And it's always a little bit trickier to do that in the middle of the line for some reason. So just listen one more time as I chant the full line. Shri Shodashakshari Vidya Trikuta Kamakotika. So the holding just comes out in terms of what you'll hear as sort of a slight pause before you pronounce the tri in Trikuta, okay? But it affects the timing of the line. So that's why I'm pointing that out. So now we'll go on to the next line. Kardaksha Kinkari Bhuta Kardaksha Kinkari Bhuta Kardaksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevita Kamala Koti Sevita Kamala Koti Sevita Kardaksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevita Kardaksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevita Kardaksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevita. Next line. Shirasthita Chandranibha. Shirasthita Chandranibha. Shirasthita Chandranibha. Bhalasthendradhanah Prabha. Bhalasthendradhanah Prabha. Bhalasthendradhanah Prabha. So in the final word, we have Dhanav Prabha. So Visarga is coming in the middle of a word, but we treat it just like anywhere else in the middle of a line. So the Visarga in Dhanav Prabha is pronounced like if, the if sound, because it's followed by the pa sound. So we have Dhanav Prabha. Also in this line, there's a number of Mahapranas. So make sure that you're paying attention to those. So now I'll chant the full line 3 times. Shirasthita Chandranibha Bhalasthendradhanah Prabha. Shirasthita Chandranibha Bhalasthendradhanah Prabha. Shirasthita Chandranibha Bhalasthendradhanah Prabha. Okay, now the next line. Hridayasthara viprakhya. Hridayasthara viprakhya. Hridayasthara viprakhya. Trikonantaradipika. 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 Hridayasthara viprakhya. Trikonantaradipika. Hridayasthara viprakhya. Trikonantaradipika. Hridayasthara viprakhya. Trikonantaradipika. Next line. Dakshayani Daityahantri. Dakshayani Daityahantri. Dakshayani Daityahantri. Dakshayajna Vinashini. Dakshayajna Vinashini. Dakshayajna Vinashini. Dakshayani Daityahantri. Dakshayajna Vinashini. Dakshayani Daityahantri. Dakshayajna Vinashini. Dakshayani Daityahantri. Dakshayajna Vinashini. Next slide. Darandolita Dirghakshi. Darandolita Dirghakshi. Darandolita Dirghakshi. Darahasojvalanmukhi. 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 Darandolita Dirghakshi. Darahasojvalanmukhi. Darandolita Dirghakshi. Darahasojvalanmukhi. Darandolita Dirghakshi. Darahasojvalanmukhi. Next slide. Gurumurtir Gunanidhir. Gurumurtir Gunanidhir. Gurumurtir Gunanidhir. Gomata Guha Janma Bhuhu.
गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर्गो माता गुहजन्मभूः गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर्गो माता गुहजन्मभूः गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर्गो माता गुहजन्मभूः. Next line. देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था दहराकाशरूपिणी 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 देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था दहराकाशरूपिणी देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था दहराकाशरूपिणी देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था दहराकाशरूपिणी. Next slide. प्रतिपन्मुख्यराकान्त 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 तिथिमण्डलपूजिता 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 प्रतिपन्मुख्यराकान्त तिथिमण्डलपूजिता प्रतिपन्मुख्यराकान्त तिथिमण्डलपूजिता प्रतिपन्मुख्यराकान्त तिथिमण्डलपूजिता. Next slide. कलात्मिका कलानाथा कलात्मिका कलानाथा कलात्मिका कलानाथा काव्यालापविनोदिनी 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 कलात्मिका कलानाथ काव्यालापविनोदिनी कलात्मिका कलानाथ काव्यालापविनोदिनी कलात्मिका कलानाथ काव्यालापविनोदिनी. Next slide. सचामररमावाणी 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 सव्यदक्षिणसेविता 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 सचामररमावाणी सव्यदक्षिणसेविता सचामररमावाणी सव्यदक्षिणसेविता सचामररमावाणी सव्यदक्षिणसेविता. Next slide. आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा 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 परमापवनाकृतिः 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 आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा परमापवनाकृतिः आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा परमापवनाकृतिः आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा स्थिरमेयात्मा परमा पावनाकृतिः
Next line.
अनेककोटि ब्रह्माण्ड अनेककोटि ब्रह्माण्ड अनेककोटि ब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रह जननी दिव्यविग्रह जननी दिव्यविग्रह अनेककोटि ब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रह अनेककोटि ब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रह अनेककोटि ब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रह.
Next line.
क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या कैवल्यपददायिनी 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 क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या कैवल्यपददायिनी क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या कैवल्यपददायिनी क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या कैवल्यपददायिनी.
So in this line, we have the word guhya, where we have holding on the ish or the hakara, the h, the ha sound. So this is one of the more challenging sounds to pronounce the holding on correctly. So this will take a little bit of practice to make sure that the sound is coming out properly, and also that there's proper holding, the time holding on that sound. So it's pronounced as guhya, guhya. So to pronounce it accurately, you'll need to sort of close or constrict the throat a little bit to get the guh sound properly in the holding. Okay, so that takes a little bit of practice to get down. Okay, now the next line.
Tripura Trijagadvandya Tripura Trijagadvandya Tripura Trijagadvandya Trimurtistridasheshwari 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 Tripura Trijagadvandya Trimurtistridasheshwari Tripura Trijagadvandya Trimurtistridasheshwari Tripura Trijagadvandya Trimurtistridasheshwari.
So in this line, the tricky part is that we have holding after dirgha on it in three, coming 2 times in this line. So we have Tripurat, Tripurat, Trijagad, and then Vandyat, Trimurtis, Vandyat, Trimurtis. Okay, so just make sure you're holding that extra beat on those sounds. Okay, now the next line. Actually, we've done about 10 shlokas or so, so I'll just pause here and see if anyone has any questions so far. Okay, everyone is all set. So we'll go on to shloka number 126.
Tryakshari divyagandhardhya Tryakshari divyagandhardhya Tryakshari divyagandhardhya.
So here in the word gandhardhya, you have two different dha sounds, but the first one is the dental dha, and the second one is the retroflex rdha. Also, there's holding on the rdha, so just watch out for that. So that word is gandhardhya, gandhardhya. Okay, now the next part. Sinduratilakanchita, 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 Tryakshari divyagandhardhya Sinduratilakanchita, Tryakshari divyagandhardhya Sinduratilakanchita, Tryakshari divyagandhardhya Sinduratilakanchita. Next line. Uma Shailendra-tanaya, Uma Shailendra-tanaya, Uma Shailendra-tanaya, Gauri Gandharva Sevita, Gauri Gandharva Sevita, Gauri Gandharva Sevita, Uma Shailendra-tanaya, Gauri Gandharva Sevita, Uma Shailendra-tanaya, Gauri Gandharva Sevita, Uma Shailendra-tanaya, Gauri Gandharva Sevita. Next line. So in the next line, in the middle of the line, we have sandhi. So I'm going to break in the middle of the line, going by the syllables, not by the names. Okay, just want to point that out. Vishvagarbha Swarnagarbha, Vishvagarbha Swarnagarbha, Vishvagarbha Swarnagarbha. And then the next name is supposed to be Avarada, which gets combined with the Garbha. So the initial up, in a sense, is dropped. So I'm going to pronounce it as Varada, but that's not the actual name. I'm just doing that for the sake of the showing the melody in the chanting. Varada Vagadhishvari, Varada Vagadhishvari, Varada Vagadhishvari. Now the whole line. Vishvagarbha Swarnagarbha Varada Vagadhishvari, Vishvagarbha Swarnagarbha Varada Vagadhishvari, Vishvagarbha Swarnagarbha Varada Vagadhishvari. Now the next line. Dhyanagambya Parichedya, Dhyanagambya Parichedya, Dhyanagambya Parichedya, Jnanada Jnana Vikraha, Jnanada Jnana Vikraha, Jnanada Jnana Vikraha, Dhyanagambya Parichedya, Jnanada Jnana Vikraha, Dhyanagambya Parichedya, Jnanada Jnana Vikraha, Dhyanagambya Parichedya, Jnanada Jnana Vikraha. So in this line, we have holding after dirgha, where the holding is on the nya sound in jnana. and it occurs 2 times in a row. So this is a tricky pronunciation. So we have Parichedya Jnana, Parichedya Jnana, and then Jnana Dag Jnana, Dag Jnana. Okay, so you want to hold there. So there's 2 extra beats of time in this line, and make sure you're holding on the Nya in Jnana. Okay, now the next line.
Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, Satyananda Swarupini, Satyananda Swarupini, Satyananda Swarupini, Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, Satyananda Swarupini, Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, Satyananda Swarupini, Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, Satyananda Swarupini.
Now the next line.
Lopamutrarchita lila, Lopamutrarchita lila, Lopamutrarchita lila, Kripta Brahmanda Mandala, Kripta Brahmanda Mandala, Kripta Brahmanda Mandala.
So in this line, we have one of those rare words that has the L vowel in it. So in Sanskrit, we have an R vowel and an L vowel. The R vowel is much more common, and you'll find it in words like rishi or drishya and so on. But the L vowel is much more rare. But this word, kripta, does contain that vowel. So many people will pronounce this as klupta, which is fine. If your guru has taught you in that way, that's fine to do that. According to the Chalakere brothers, the sound is more like an L and R combined, which is very challenging both to hear and also to pronounce. So if you want to pronounce it that way, it will take some time. So the sound is like klrup, klrup, klrup. So it's like KLRPTA. Okay, so it just takes some practice. So now I'll do the full line.
Lopamutrarchita lila, Kripta Brahmanda Mandala, Lopamutrarchita lila, Kripta Brahmanda Mandala, Lopamutrarchita lila, Kripta Brahmanda Mandala.
Now the next line.
Adrusya drusya rahita, Adrusya drusya rahita, Adrusya drusya rahita, Vijñāt privetya varchita, Vijñāt privetya varchita, Vijñāt privetya varchita. Adrusya drusya rahita, Vijñāt privetya varchita, Adrusya drusya rahita, Vijñāt privetya varchita, Adrusya drusya rahita, Vijñāt privetya varchita.
Next line.
Yogini yogadayokya, Yogini Yogadayogya. Yogini Yogadayogya. Yogananda Yugandhara. Yogananda Yugandhara. Yogananda Yugandhara. Yogini Yogadayogya. Yogananda Yugandhara. Yogini Yogadayogya. Yogananda Yugandhara. Yogini Yogadayogya. Yogananda Yugandhara.
Next line.
Ichha Shakti Jnana Shakti. Ichha Shakti Jnana Shakti. Ichha Shakti Jnana Shakti. Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Ichha Shakti Jnana Shakti. Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Ichha Shakti Jnana Shakti. Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Ichha Shakti Jnana Shakti. Kriya Shakti Swarupini.
Next line.
Sarvadhara Supratishtha. Sarvadhara Supratishtha. Sarvadhara Supratishtha. Sadasatrupadharini. 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 Sarvadhara Supratishtha. Sadasatrupadharini. Sarvadhara Supratishtha. Sadasatrupadharini. Sarvadhara Supratishtha. Sadasatrupadharini.
Next line.
Ashtamurtirajayatri. 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 Lokayatra vidhayini. Lokayatra vidhayini. Lokayatra vidhayini. Ashtamurtirajayatri. Lokayatra vidhayini. Ashtamurtirajayatri. Lokayatra vidhayini. Ashtamurtirajayatri. Lokayatra vidhayini.
Next line.
Ekakini bhumarupa. Ekakini bhumarupa. Ekakini bhumarupa. Nirtvaita dvaita varchita. Nirtvaita dvaita varchita. Nirtvaita dvaita varchita. Ekakini bhumarupa. Nirtvaita dvaita varchita. Ekakini bhumarupa. Nirtvaita dvaita varchita. Ekakini bhumarupa. Nirtvaita dvaita varchita.
Next line.
Annada vasudha vruddha. Annada vasudha vruddha. Annada Vasudha Vruddha Brahmatmaikyasvarupini 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 Annada Vasudha Vruddha Brahmatmaikyasvarupini Annada Vasudha Vruddha Brahmatmaikyasvarupini Annada Vasudha Vruddha Brahmatmaikyasvarupini.
Next slide.
Bruhati Brahmani Brahmi Bruhati Brahmani Brahmi Bruhati Brahmani Brahmi Brahmananda Balipriya Brahmananda Balipriya Brahmananda Balipriya. So in this line and also the line before it, we have a number of words that begin with bra or bra. And then in many cases before that syllable, we have the dirgha E sound. So we have dirgha, so holding after dirgha. And I find that this is one of those spots where people very frequently will miss the holding. So I just want to point it out. So in the line before, we have Vriddha Brahma, Vriddha Brahma. So we have holding on the ib after Vriddha. And then in the line number, the next line, we have Brihati Brahm. So Ti Brahm, so holding on the ib before Brahmani. Then again, we have holding on the ib in Brahmi. So Brahmani, Brahmi. And then again, we have holding on the bra in Brahmananda. Brahmi, Brahmananda. Brahmi, Brahma. Okay, so this same pattern occurs a number of times in this shloka. So we just want to watch out for that and make sure that we're holding for that extra beat in those places. So I'll chant the full second line. Brihati Brahmani Brahmi Brahmananda Balipriya Brihati Brahmani Brahmi Brahmananda Balipriya Brihati Brahmani Brahmi Brahmananda Balipriya. Okay, so now the next line. Bhasha Rupa Bruhatsena Bhasha Rupa Bruhatsena Bhasha Rupa Bruhatsena Bhava Bhava Vivarchita Bhava Bhava Vivarchita Bhava Bhava Vivarchita Bhasha Rupa Bruhatsena Bhava Bhava Vivarchita Bhasha Rupa Bruhatsena Bhava Bhava Vivarchita Bhasha Rupa Bruhatsena Bhava Bhava Vivarchita. Next line. Sukharadhya Shubhakari Sukharadhya Shubhakari Sukharadhya Shubhakari Shobhana Sulabhagatihi Shobhana Sulabhagatihi Shobhana Sulabhagatihi सुखाराध्या शुभकरी शोभना सुलभा गतिः सुखाराध्या शुभकरी शोभना सुलभा गतिः सुखाराध्या शुभकरी शोभना सुलभा गतिः. So in a line like this, where we have so many Mahapranas coming, I find personally that it takes a bit more sort of extra breath to pronounce all of those Mahapranas. And if I'm not careful, I'll run out of breath closer to the end of the line. And when you run out of breath, it's very difficult or impossible to pronounce a Mahaprana correctly. So here's where you want to focus on increasing your breathing capacity and making sure to take a deep breath before the line starts. So that way you can complete the entire line in a single breath, which is the ideal, and that's the goal that we're going for. But for a line like this, where so many Mahapranas come, you definitely will need a little bit more of a deeper breath to get through that. Okay, so now the next line. Rajarajeshwari Rajya Rajarajeshwari Rajya Rajarajeshwari Rajya Dayini Rajya Vallabha Dayini Rajya Vallabha Dayini Rajya Vallabha Rajarajeshwari Rajyadayini Rajyavallabha Rajarajeshwari Rajyadayini Rajyavallabha Rajarajeshwari Rajyadayini Rajyavallabha. Next line. Rajat Krupa Rajapitha Rajat Krupa Rajapitha Rajat Krupa Rajapitha Niveshita Nijashrita Niveshita Nijashrita Niveshita Nijashrita Rajat Kripa Rajapitha Niveshita Nijashrita Rajat Kripa Rajapitha Niveshita Nijashrita Rajat Kripa Rajapitha Niveshita Nijashrita. Next line. Rajalakshmi Koshanatha Rajalakshmi Koshanatha Rajalakshmi Koshanatha Chaturangabaleshwari Chaturangabaleshwari Chaturangabaleshwari. So in this line, the tricky part comes in the name Rajalakshmi. Because we have the name ending in a visarga, and the visarga is followed by a ka sound. So it's pronounced as like an ish sound. And it's also holding after dirgha. So holding after dirgha, and the holding is on the ish sound of visarga. That's one of the most challenging sounds to do correctly. So it's like Lakshmi Kosha, Lakshmi Kosha. So that will take some extra practice for sure. So now I'll do the full line. Rajalakshmi Koshanatha Chaturangabaleshwari Rajalakshmi Koshanatha Chaturangabaleshwari राज्यलक्ष्मीः कोशनाथ चतुरङ्गबलेश्वरी. Next line. साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्य साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्य साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्य सन्धासागरमेखला 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 साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्यसन्धासागरमेखला साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्यसन्धासागरमेखला साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्यसन्धासागरमेखला. Next line. दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी. दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशङ्करी. Next line. सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानन्दरूपिणी 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 सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानन्दरूपिणी सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानन्दरूपिणी सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानन्दरूपिणी. Next line. देशकालपरिच्छिन्ना 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 सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी. देशकालपरिच्छिन्ना सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी देशकालपरिच्छिन्ना सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी देशकालपरिच्छिन्ना सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी. Next line. सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी. Next line. सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी 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 Okay, so I think I'll stop there. I just want to check if there are any questions on the other material that we've done tonight. Okay, sounds like everyone is all set with the material. So Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you next time.
You explained it, everything, whatever the doubt I was getting it, you were going through the whole thing. So at the end, I don't have anything to ask now.
So you didn't have to ask questions.
No,
Okay.
because you know where the holding is, how the visarga changes different ways. So
And also, I know how I myself have missed things over the years, and I have been tripped up over the tricky parts. So I can understand how those parts will also be tricky for others. So because I've gone through those difficulties, I'm able to point them out to others. Definitely,
is
everybody
good, though.
starts from the beginner state and learns a little bit at a time. And over time, we sort of polish and fine tune our chanting. Almost no one can get it accurately from the start or at the beginning of their learning. So it's always a learning process. And as long as we have that mindset of continuous improvement, that's the most critical factor
I
in our
can
learning.
find it myself. We have been chanting everything. I said, my goodness, those things we have been missing unless you hear it and then somebody's pointing it out and it gets stuck. That's how I learned it. It stuck in the mind.
Yeah, everyone's in the same boat because, 99.9% of us have never learned in a pathashala. We're all on the same path in the same boat and dealing with the same challenges.
It
So
was really a
that's
good
all it
revision,
is.
though, at least for me. I think somebody has a hand. Rima.